Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today, we're going to look at the subject of Wi-Fi. And we're doing that because cyber hackers, that's the people who break into your Wi-Fi, have been targeting our railway stations. For those of you who don't know, a lot of our public transport across the UK offers free Wi-Fi, and it seems that major rail stations across Britain have been hacked, and certain messages regarding terrorism have been left on people's telephones, giving details and warnings about how things are about to get worse. The National Cyber Security Council, the National Crime Agency, and British Transport Police are all investigating. And today's report is coming to you from the Metro. That's a newspaper here. And it's from the Metro dated today, which is Friday, 27th of September, 2024. Stations hit across London were Liverpool Street, Euston, Waterloo, London Bridge, Cannon Street, Charing Cross, Clapham Junction, King's Cross, Paddington and Victoria, Birmingham New Street, Glasgow Central, Manchester Piccadilly, Leeds City, Liverpool Lime Street, Bristol, Edinburgh, Reading and Guildford. Hackers struck, that means they did their thing, at 5 on Wednesday, as hundreds of thousands of people were using the stations to get home. Network Rail said, "We're currently dealing with a cybersecurity incident affecting the public Wi-Fi at Network Rail's managed stations. The service is provided via a third party, and this has been suspended while an investigation is underway." The hackers are suspected to have gained access through systems belonging to a communications provider. That same provider also works with NHS emergency services, including London Ambulance Service, Coast Guards, higher education firms, and utility firms. British Transport Police said, "We are aware of a cyber attack that affected some Network Rail Wi-Fi services, and we are working to investigate the incident." Oh, very interesting, very interesting. So you can hear there that this has been a major issue. I did hear about this yesterday, but strangely, it's only really reported in one newspaper. I haven't seen it in any of the others, at least not yet anyway. And the headline is "Hijacked on rush hour trains." Hijacked, I guess, is just playing with the word hijacked. As you probably know, hijacked is when something is taken over involuntarily. Someone hijacked my plans. My Wi-Fi has been hijacked. The plane was hijacked, taken over by terrorists. So they're playing with words here, changing the word hijacked into hijacked, referring to Wi-Fi. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Hijacked on rush hour trains. Right. Okay. So let's just think about that for a moment. Wi-Fi is available in all of our public places, particularly on public transport. I mean, it's not available in the street on every town, but it is there. But I think there's a concern that if people are able to hack into Wi-Fi to give us dangerous messages, it stands to reason that they might also be stealing information. And so you have to be very careful when you're using Wi-Fi on public transport. Speaking of Wi-Fi and public transport and these things, Our railways have always offered Wi-Fi for many years now, and it's always been quite safe. Let's just jump to another story here in the same newspaper, which is talking about rail generally. Now, just to let you know, the railway is looked after by various different companies. The underpinning company, Network Rail, is a government organisation that looks after the railway system. It rents out its franchises certain timetables, and those private companies run those. Some of those trains belong to the government, others belong to those private companies, and the government's looking at taking back control to make sure that all of it, including the private bit and the franchises, are operated by the government. We don't really know what that looks like yet, but it's already happened in Scotland. They've terminated the private franchises, and the rail system in Scotland is now being operated by the Scottish government. Many bus services too, and it looks like they want to have a transport service which is completely in the public domain, reversing the work of Margaret Thatcher, of course, who privatised everything. So the story here, this is another story, fare rises, that means the cost of tickets, the fare. Fare rises hits commuters in the pocket, meaning that it makes us more unhappy and poorer. We don't have as much money in our pocket. It says here, peak fares return to Scotland's railways from Monday. Peak fares return to Scotland's railways from Monday, meaning an anytime return ticket between Glasgow and Edinburgh will cost £31.40 instead of £16.20. The Scottish Government has ended a trial that allowed commuters to benefit from off-peak fares at all times. It's not actually that bad, though, because they're saying an anytime return ticket is almost doubling, but an anytime return fare is one of the most expensive tickets on the network. If you buy simply a return fare, it's still fairly cheap, I think. It says here, it just goes on to say, opposition parties, campaign groups have urged the Scottish Government to think again. Jamie Livingston, head of Oxfam Scotland, said the return of peak rail fares is short-sighted and damaging. They trialled making off-peak fares available to everyone at all times. That trial is ending, but we are introducing new ways for customers to lock in great value on regular peak time train travel. So to lock in simply means to get more benefits. If you lock into something, you agree to do something that saves you money in the long run. It's a strange thing to say, to lock in. Right, there we are. So that's two stories today about our train systems. One regarding the Wi-Fi, which is very worrying, I think. And they're comparing that Wi-Fi like the TV show Night Sleeper. I don't know what that TV show is, but they're saying this cyber hack is just like that TV show Night Sleeper. Night Sleeper. And it says here, Alexandra Roach, the actress, plays cyber expert Abby Asgarth in a TV show called Night Sleeper. Social media users compared the new BBC drama Night Sleeper to what happened yesterday. Very interesting, very interesting. But I heard something about this last week. They were saying that there were issues with Wi-Fi at train stations. So I don't know if this is something new or what's happening, but a little bit worrying just the same, a little bit worrying. So who knows what's going on there. Yeah, well, anyway, if you are coming to the UK or thinking about it, yeah, it may be a good idea not to use the Wi-Fi network, because you might be very confused with some of the messages that appear on your screen, especially those talking about terrorism. So that's not a good idea. I never use public Wi-Fi anyway. I have one of these unlimited data plans. I really don't trust some of our Wi-Fi networks because they don't really connect properly. The speed isn't very good. You know what it's like, I'm sure. Right, that's it from me for the moment. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Let's talk again soon. See you. Bye.